All right, Cormac.
Yes.
We got Cormac Moore here. We got Mark Kuhl here. We are here to talk to people about what and why.
Culture.
Culture.
Yes, culture. Why? I don't know. How long ago was it that I came to you actually about this?
Whew. Almost a year, 6, 8 months.
It's been a while.
9 months.
For sure. So, and I came to you. One of the things that the thing that I came to you about was we have something special at our place of work.
I think so.
Yeah, you better, right? You better. So, but we have something special, right? And not only do we have something special, but I think you've been able to create something special over the years, not just here, but at previous places that you've been.
Appreciate that.
Military, fire department. And I know that because I know a lot of the people from those previous places that you worked.
Yeah.
So, they kind of even have become family within our family that we have here in our group. So I came to you, really just wanted to try to get an idea together where we can share what we have here, and so people can understand that it can be achieved anywhere, and they can enjoy coming to work no matter what you're doing, whether you're scooping poop or you're selling real estate or whatever that is.
And it wasn't easy getting here. It was a lot of trials, tribulations, however you say that, and learning about people. We got different things that we've done, personality profiles and love languages and all that stuff that all kind of plays into it. But the big thing was everybody was seeking a better place to be, to feel comfortable and want to come to work. And most people here don't call it work, so
right.
It's kind of crazy. So we'll start off, I guess, by talking. Doing this culture bit. Culture is a tagline, I think, that a lot of places use and they don't follow. And I truly don't believe it's a tagline here. I truly believe. Well, I know that people here truly have wonderful, wonderful culture. And we hold each other accountable. We do things here that is just a wonderful place to be. So it's our extended family, if you will.
Yeah.
And you said something about knowing a little bit of my background. I'll tell you a little bit about your background. For me, seeing you used to work for this company, you got out of real estate to become a manager in a lending organization. And really nice, profitable for you, but it just didn't feel right, is what you had explained to me. And you weren't able to. You got a new baby coming, and there was just zero tolerance on taking time off, and that tugged on your heart a little bit. So the culture at that organization, not that it's a wrong culture, it was just a different culture, and it wasn't what you were seeking. Is that about correct on why you came back?
Yeah, absolutely. Right towards the end, right before I left, you were with the company, and we had a lot of great interactions at the end. And then you're right. When I was with the other company, it wasn't quite what I wanted anymore or needed anymore in my life. And so I had actually reached out to you months before I ever came on and just talked to you about what was going on here, what had changed. And it had changed a lot at that point, although I think that it's changed even more so in the last year and a half, that to a whole nother extent, which is, one of the things that obviously we're gonna go through, telling that story of where it was and where it is now, and why and how it became what it is now. So I had originally reached out to you and talked about it and decided to make that jump, and
I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Huge asset here.
It's been amazing. I think that I think it spoke volumes. We had an event like this summer, and my parents had approached you, kind of told you some things. Yeah. So
here we go. Starting off already,
right? For sure. So I think actually before we get into this story, one thing that we do need to know is everyone probably should know that we're criers.
Yeah.
We squirrel like crazy. So this is going to be probably as raw as it gets.
Yeah.
So my parents came to you. They talked to you about some personal changes that had happened in my life. that had brought them to Montana sooner than they had expected with their little granddaughter.
That was
here.
impactful
So,
as heck, yeah.
big time. I think that speaks volumes, but that's not the only story, right? Everyone in our office has a story like that to some degree if they've been here for any length of time. So.
And we will be getting those guys in here one-on-one, maybe a couple or whatever, just to tell their story as well, because there's lots of them, which is really cool. Your story was pretty amazing in the fact that you were a great guy before when you worked for us, and you're even a more incredible guy now. And what the change was there, your parents saw that in a huge way. And when they confided in me at that event, I was floored. And then when I portrayed that back to you, I think you were a little bit floored to hear that about your parents, about you,
For sure.
which was just an amazing, amazing thing. And those are the stories that make me tick, right? So my culture is a background of teamwork, a background of military and firefighter, and I just love being around people. We'll talk about DISC stuff, and we'll talk about culture stuff and love languages and all these things that kind of tie into who I am and who you are and who this group of people outside that door are that work with us, not for us, but with us. And that's part of that culture too, is saying we instead of I. So as we jump into this, why did you come to me in the first place about doing this culture piece and letting people know what we got here?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that what we have here is special. I definitely feel like what we have here was created from you and Marcy, and it's trickled. I don't think it needs to start there, but that is where, and I just wanted to try to create an idea of how did it happen so people can take that into their workspace or their livelihoods in their households or whatever. Take that and use, maybe get a little bit from us and take that back and use that and wherever they want to use it, wherever they want to create culture. So what does that mean? I mean, you came from a corporate culture. That lending institution was a corporate culture. People talk a lot about corporate cultures as being I'm a number, I'm not a person. How did you feel there versus how you feel here, and how has that changed you and your family? Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great example. So the corporate culture that I was at, they didn't treat us personally bad, and I've got nothing negative to say about that place. But at the end of the day, when I decided to leave, they had somebody ready to take that place, right?
Did that make you feel expendable, or is that
it made me feel expendable also, but it also made me feel good about, okay, I know that it's going to get taken care of.
Right.
I can take a step away, But what that doesn't do is attach me to that company. I don't think, it doesn't keep me loyal to that. The difference would be is when you come here, you guys involve all of us in all decisions, pretty much any business related decisions. Do you have to? No. And I don't even know if that's the perfect...
It's kind of business taboo.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that's necessarily the perfect thing for each place, but what that does is it provides a whole ton of ownership on us when we make a decision together as a company that, okay, we have to buckle up and make sure that this is done right. And instead of you coming and telling us this is what we're doing and we've got to figure it out regardless, we made that decision with you, so we have some type of ownership in that. So,
which is quite a bit different than military and firefighter that
absolutely.
I did. I mean, you got an officer that's going to be making the orders, and the people under him do everything as prescribed. And however, I believe in that strategy for certain things, especially military and fire service, where lives are in danger.
Yeah.
I believe everybody in this company has a duty and a right to explain how they feel, because they feel differently than me, and I need to know how they feel so we can treat our clients that way and our coworkers that way and things like that to build that culture. Culture was kind of an afterthought, I think, of what we did here. We just wanted to treat people right.
Right.
And you treat people right, and he treats people, and she does, and you came to me with an idea sitting here, and because of you felt so much better or something. How did that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I actually think you brought a little bit of it up. So this is why I came to you, right? Because you're talking about in the military, the fire department, and now here, in all different, I guess, frames of how the leadership goes or whatever, and you still were able to create those cultures within that area. And like I said, I know this because I know these people that you worked with in both of those areas. So if you're able to do it in all those different structures where you might not be able to have ownership in a business decision, then you can do it everywhere. It's not just that it happened here. So I think that what I want to do is try to extract as much as I can out of how you created the cultures in all of those areas and share it as much as I can, as much as we can to everyone. Because I think that it's not going to be here's the step-by-step thing, because there's so many nuances, I think, to creating culture and what situation you're in now, what you're trying to build, from starting out to maybe a company that falls apart to, a company that's structurally sound, but you just want to create a better culture. They're all going to have different, I think, nuances to how you do it. But I think that we can grab something out of what has happened and what you've created in the past to share with people so they can take it to their place of work.
Yeah, and I think culture can be whatever you want it to be, because a culture for ditch diggers is not going to be a culture for what we have. I was a ditch digger. I owned a construction company, so I get it. It's a different culture. Doesn't mean to be worse or better, but it's different than what we have here. We're dealing with people's livelihoods, their money, their finances, the biggest investment they're ever going to make, and things like that. And it's a much more impactful and long-term relationship than landscaping somebody's yard.
Right. Absolutely. But I think what our goal would be is to take what we have and be able to figure out some tools that anybody could take and create any culture that they want with those tools. And I think that we have that here, and we have that ability to do that. And that's really what to grab. That's a great idea, guys. That's a great idea. I can use that for this. I can use that for this. And to create, again, the culture that you want, maybe not the exact culture that we have.
I think one of the things that brings up is the culture of allowing the lowest person on the totem pole to speak up and be heard. That's a big one, because our new people usually come up with some pretty doggone good ideas, some refreshing stuff that some of us people have been around. It's like, whoa, why didn't I think of that? New blood is always really good, and so to be able to capitalize on that and let them feel trusted to do that without the feeling of reprise, or is that the right word? I'm really good with words.
Yeah, I don't know.
The feeling of getting, whatever that word is. Yeah. But you know what I mean. I think that the culture that we've liked to have here is that, and it can be different anywhere. But so we've created something here, and I've been blessed with a positive attitude my entire life, and it's not common sense to other people. My common sense is it should just be positive. Well, that's not how everyone's done. So we're going to talk about personalities and what's inside of you. There's lots of things. People will lay their hat on the Myers-Briggs. Wonderful personality traits, but it's not everything.
Right.
Love language. Well, it's wonderful it's a wonderful tool, but it's not everything. And you got the DISC profile. It's a great tool, but it's not everything. And all these things added together, your values index and your life experience and things like that all tie in. And we just got the newest one from Patrick Lencioni, which is the Working Genius, which has been
it's been amazing.
Mind-boggling for our company because of the impact it has on why we do what we do work-wise, and what gives us joy and what frustrates us in work. And not that we know it about ourselves, but our culture is, I want to know about you.
Right.
And I want you to know about me, so we can go, oh, that's why you do that stupid stuff. Oh, that's why you do that stupid stuff. I got it. And, oh, you don't like doing that? Well, I like doing that. Why don't I do that and you do this?
Right.
And one of the analogies that we use quite often is the negotiation over an orange. You remember that one?
Yeah.
So just to throw some preface in there for those of you that are watching or listening, when you negotiate, there's always a mediator that wants to get things done. And basically, you say I want a whole orange, and I say I want the whole orange, and we argue back and forth, and we never figure out why you want that orange. And so the mediator says, fine, let's cut it in half. You get half, I get half. And we walk away. I'm happy because I got my half, you're happy but you got your half, and I watch you walk away, and you're peeling your orange, and you're throwing your peel in the garbage can, and you're eating the orange. And I'm looking at mine, and I peeled the orange, kept the peel, and threw the orange away. I go back and I ask Cormac, why'd you do that? Well, I wanted to eat the orange. And you say, well, why did you throw the orange away and keep the peel? And I said, because I'm using it for baking. Well, if we'd asked deeper questions and got into the piece of why do you want this orange so bad, you could have got a whole orange to eat, right. And I could have got the whole orange peel for baking. And I love that analogy because it's really easy to really think about and say that's it. And people are no different. And I think when you came to me and asked me some questions, it's like, okay, why is this happening? And little light bulbs click on. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, and I think something else to bring up with all the Myers-Briggs, the DISC, the love language, the working genius, because we use that. And we use that daily here, but we also use it in trying to figure out, does that person work for us, for what we're looking for? You know, we're very guarded in who gets to come in. And that's another piece of ownership. Everyone here has to approve to get it to the next level. You know, not everyone has that luxury. We're small enough where we can do that.
Boy, that takes the pressure off me,
yeah,
too.
Right?
I don't hire the jerk and you guys get mad at me, right?
Yeah. But we use that. So from the beginning, anybody who does come on, they see the importance that we use it to hire. And then we're not done using it. It is a constant conversation and language that we use within the office all the time. And we use it when we're talking to people. We use it when we make a decision on how we approach. I'm not going to approach you the same way I'm going to approach Marcy about something.
Yeah.
You know, so I think those are important things to note. It's not just the hiring. Oh, we know who this person is. It's now how do we utilize that person for something that they're going to enjoy. Mm-hmm. Well, also because if they enjoy it, it's going to benefit us.
Oh,
it's going to benefit the company. It's going to benefit them. So everyone's happy, right? And so I think that those will be things that we talk about, that process. I think how we utilize each one of those tools. You already said it, accountability we'll talk about.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that we're going to strive to do is bring a story of each one of those, I guess, criteria that we're going to talk about. Each one of those topics we're going to talk about. We're going to bring a story in that was impactful within our office, you know, of somebody explaining how they held somebody accountable and how it was taken. Or how somebody, you know, just a light bulb went in their head when they were talking to somebody, but they realized they were talking to that person wrong. You know, because I'm not saying we don't make mistakes, but then we usually realize the mistakes in this office and we pull those back and we talk about that. So
culture is a tagline. So do you... Obviously, you have culture everywhere you go. You got it on your baseball team, and simultaneously you have culture here at work, and simultaneously you have culture at home, and simultaneously you have culture at the bank you go to, and simultaneously you have culture everywhere you go. There's a culture, and we're going to talk about this, and because I think this is so huge. Each and every one of us has the ability to change the culture wherever we're at, whatever we're doing, and it's just like losing weight. You're not going to notice the weight coming off every day,
right?
But if you look back in a month or 2 or 6 months or something, you go, wow, that really changed.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the thing when you came to me. I was like, man, you're right. Look at that. Look at how amazing this is chiming and clicking along.
I mean, that's going to be our biggest example, I think, that we feed off of, obviously, is the story of Performance Real Estate.
Yeah.
And where you were 3 years ago to where we are now.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a story that we're going to pull a lot of wisdom, a lot of ideas off of, because this was not an overnight thing.
No.
As I know
it's not like it was horrible. It was just different, right? It was just different,
Yeah, it just took time, and it took a lot of effort on, you know, yours and Marcy's behalf, and to create what we have here. Yeah. So probably a lot of sleepless nights, I would bet, and a lot of stress. But
Yeah, definitely.
It got there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like that anymore.
No, we
I know it's
stumbled
not.
across some stuff. We
Yeah.
we strive to make certain things. We busted our humps to make certain things, but yeah, we did stumble across some things. And went, wow, that's pretty cool. But the big thing is we learned from it. We discussed it as a team, as a group, and got to learn from that. So I think we're going to have a really good conversation about this and really good stories throughout this entire process. And what I want anybody listening or watching to know is it doesn't matter where you are or in an organization or anything. You have the ability to change the culture, and it may not happen overnight. But I mean, in the Marine Corps, I was just a lowly corporal, right? There's lots of people above me, but I certainly made some differences amongst my men that I led, and that actually changed some of the leaders that led me. And conversely, with the fire department, same thing. I was toward the top of that organization, but not at the top. Yeah. So again, being blessed with that positive attitude, it had a big impact, and I didn't know it until years after, when I've been out of the fire service for going on 9 years now. Next month, a couple months here, it's gonna be 9 years, and those firefighters still call me and ask me questions.
I'm friends with some of them.
Your friend, yeah, and they're from 10 hours away.
Yeah.
You know, and that is such a huge compliment. I had no idea that I was making an impact on those folks. And it's not a pat on my back. It's not. I don't want it to be that. I hate that. But it sure does feel good when you know you treated someone well enough to know that they're going to ask for advice years down the road on promotions, on things like that in the fire. Hey, how'd you do this when you were back here? Hey, how did you deal with chief on this situation? It's kind of real. It's a huge compliment, and I got to compliment you too, because your time here, your short time that you've been back, you've had a major impact on this company. So much to say, hey, Mark, let's tap into what the heck we're doing here, and that to me is amazing. It's incredible. So I appreciate you for that.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I know you don't like the tap on your back, but I mean, that's really what I'm going to do a lot of as we go through this, is provide examples of situations that you have helped a lot of people through that have created this culture. So
that's awesome. So yeah, the big thing is again, whatever culture you have, whatever culture you want, create it, right? Start striving towards it, and every culture is a little bit different, and just because it's not exactly what you want, you can make of it what you want.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, to wrap up really what we are talking about today, we'll be coming once a month-ish to
once a weekish, once a month-ish. What are we going to do over there? Actually, we got our awesome photographer, cinematographer, Kayla behind the camera. Yeah. Try not to look at her. So yeah, this is very informal, but yeah.
I think we're going to try once a month-ish, but it could be once a week depending on feedback that we get. Yeah. But we're going to go story by story. We're going to go topic by topic that we're going to, you know, kind of bring how it came about, how the culture came about, and just step by step of things that we find important that have created the culture that are here. We're going to, you know, bring people in to explain stories that they were involved in, tell their story about it, and we'll ask them questions.
Dude, that could be scary.
It'll be real scary. There's already a couple of them out there that I'm a little terrified of bringing on, but it'll be great to hear. Like I said, there's going to be probably a lot of crying. Both of us are huge criers.
No,
there's a lot of squirrel. He likes to squirrel a lot. So, but we're going to try to bring as best content as we can. We definitely want feedback on what is important to you guys. What is anybody watching this? What do you want to see? What questions do you have? We'll interact with that as well. Try to provide you answers, and just reach out if you do have any questions as we go along. But
yeah, I think that's fantastic. We're gonna have fun with this, and hopefully, I mean, our goal. You can tell your goal, but when you came to me and said, "How do we share this?" Instantly, I got a little selfish and went, "Well, my goal would be to help as many people as we can and make as many people as happy as I can. I mean, that's that love language of mine is acts of service. I want to serve others and share this. And so, what was your goal for this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, my goal really, we do have a broader goal, I think, of as many people as possible. But the biggest thing is who can we help the next person, and what questions do they have? How can our experiences, people not have the same, I guess, difficulties. We have some experiences that we can share. I'm not saying we're experts by any means, but my goal is just to maybe help one workplace at a time create a different culture for themselves. So
start that little stir amongst that person that wants to get that culture, and just keep stirring it and stirring it and stir it and see if it'll grow.
Absolutely.
Amongst our peers, our friends, and anyone we come across. So I like it.
Awesome.
All right. Well, till next time, brother.